in the second part we have to show that this lambda raised to k is an eigenvalue of a raised to k, and later on we have to show this by using that lambda raised to k is a eigenvalue of a raised to k. Now over here we are going to go for the other definition that I have told you, that since lambda is the eigenvalue of a, what will happen, there will exist x not equal to 0 belonging to r raised to n such that ax will be equal to lambda x. So this fact I have written here. Okay, you can see the bottom line. Okay, now by using this we have to prove that lambda raised to k is an eigenvalue of a raised to k. So the question is how to do it. So in order to show lambda raised to k is an eigenvalue of a raised to k, we need to find, just recall the definition of eigenvalue. Lambda is said to be an eigenvalue of matrix A if we are able to find x not equal to 0 belonging to r raised to n such that this happens. So when will lambda raised to k be an eigenvalue of a raised to k? If we are able to find some x such that a raised to k multiplied by x is equal to lambda raised to k multiplied by x, isn't it? And we are going to prove that this x is nothing but this x, means whatever x has been there over here, the same x is going to work for a raised to k also. म्हणजे जो x a साठी वर्क होत होता for lambda to be an eigenvalue of a, the same x is going to work for what, lambda raised to k to be an eigenvalue of a raised to k. Okay, so in order to do that, first of all I am going to prove that this a raised to kx is equal to lambda raised to kx for all k belongings to n, means for all natural numbers n. We are going to show that this is happening, and I am going to prove this with the help of principle of mathematical induction. One can easily see that I am going to call this statement as p of k. So easily p of 1 is true. If you put k is equal to 1, you will get ax is equal to lambda x, which is already true because lambda is an eigenvalue of a. So then I will assume that p of n is true, and I will try to prove that p of n plus 1 is true. So I don't think there is any explanation for that because proof is very simple. So just I will go on scrolling. One can easily see, because we have seen many examples by mathematical induction. So I have said here, in order to show lambda raised to k is an eigenvalue of a raised to k, we show that this happens, that a raised to kx is equal to lambda raised to kx for k belonging to n by using first principle of mathematical induction. So I have called it as p of k, and clearly p of 1 is true from this 1, since this is happening. Now I will assume that p of n is true, that is the induction step. So p of n is true means what will happen, a raised to nx will be equal to lambda raised to nx. Now we are supposed to show that p of n plus 1 is true, in the sense a raised to n plus 1 x should be equal to lambda raised to n plus 1 x. So just I will consider the left hand side. So left hand side is a raised to n plus 1 x, so that will be equal to a raised to n multiplied by a multiplied by x. But we already know what is a multiplied by x, that is lambda x. So you can use that value, and once we get that lambda x, just I will come down, then you'll understand. Yeah, I'll consider LHS. Then this a raised to n plus 1 can be written as a raised to n ax, but this ax is lambda x, so you'll get this term. Now since lambda is a real number, this can be shifted anywhere, so I can shift it over here on the left hand side. Then you left with lambda a raised to nx, but we already know by the induction step that a raised to nx is nothing but lambda raised to nx, so that can be used, and that is exactly the right hand side, and therefore p of n plus 1 is true, and therefore by first principle of mathematical induction it is true for all natural numbers n, and therefore this happens, and therefore lambda raised to k is an eigenvalue of a raised to k with x as an eigenvector. So sometimes this question is also asked. Suppose they will give you some eigenvalues, they will say 1 2 3 are eigenvalues of a, and the corresponding eigenvectors are let me assume that 1 0 0 0 1 0 and 0 1 0 1 are the eigenvectors. Then they will ask you what are the eigenvalues of a cube, and they will also ask what are the corresponding eigenvectors. So just note that eigenvectors remains exactly the same. Okay, so what we have proved here is, while proving lambda raised to k is an eigenvalue of a raised to k, you can note one thing, that eigenvector is same, it is x only, it is not changing. So therefore your eigenvalues of a cube will be 1, 8 and 3 cube is I guess 27, and the eigenvectors are going to be exactly same. Means what? Eigenvector of 1 is going to be 1 0 0, of 8 it is going to be 0 1 0, and of 27 it will be 0 0 1. So that eigenvectors are not going to change. So this may be also asked in MCQs. Okay, so this is regarding, this was regarding lambda raised to k is an eigenvalue of a raised to k. Now we have to prove that this I will go back, this f of lambda is an eigenvalue of f of a, where this f of x is a polynomial over R. So what I will do is, I will use some notation for f of x. Yeah, I have a lot of space here, so I will use some notation for f of x. I'll say let f of x is equal to some a n x raised to n plus a n minus 1 x raised to n minus 1, this will be continued, plus a1 x plus a naught. Now we have to show that f of lambda is an eigenvalue of f of a. So in order to show it, again I am going to use the same trick. Actually we are going to get the same eigenvector as the eigenvector we got corresponding to the eigenvalue lambda of a. So in order to prove it, I will prove that f of a multiplied by x is equal to f of lambda multiplied by x. So this will imply that this f of lambda is a eigenvalue of f of a with x as an eigenvector. Is that okay? So I mean that, suppose you know that 2 is the eigenvalue of a, and just now we have seen that we got 4 to be an eigenvalue of a plus 2i. But if you know the eigenvector corresponding to 2, suppose it is 1 2 3, then it is exactly going to be the same, and eigenvector corresponding to 4 will be also 1 2 3. Just keep that in mind, that may be also useful somewhere in the MCQs. Okay, now in order to prove that this, obviously I am going to consider the left hand side and we'll prove that it is equal to the right hand side. So what will be my f of a? My f of a will be an a raised to n. Just observe this f of x properly, then you will understand what is f of a. So f of a will be an a raised to n plus an minus 1 a raised to n minus 1 plus so on. This will be continued, plus a1a plus a naught I, and outside it is x. Now put that x inside, so this will be equal to an a raised to n x plus an minus 1 a raised to n minus 1 x plus so on, plus a1 ax plus a naught ix. But what is a and x? Now just now we have proved that a raised to kx is equal to lambda raised to kx for all natural numbers k. So obviously it will be true for n also, because n is also a natural number. So therefore this will be equal to an lambda raised to n, actually, because it is a raised to n. So lambda raised to n x plus an minus 1, इथे काय येईल आता, lambda raised to n minus 1 x. This will be continued, plus it will be a1, and ax is lambda x plus, and it is going to be a naught, and I multiplied by x is going to be x. Okay, so this is equal to, now that x can be taken out, so this will be an lambda raised to n plus an minus 1 lambda raised to n minus 1 plus so on, plus a1 lambda plus a naught, and outside it is x. And what is this? This is nothing but what? F of lambda. Since this is f of x, you simply put x is equal to lambda and you will get this polynomial, and that is nothing but f of lambda, and this is exactly f of lambda multiplied by x, which is our right hand side. And now therefore we can say that f of lambda is the eigenvalue of f of a. Yeah, so I have used the notation f of x for the polynomial. Now in order to show f of lambda is the eigenvalue of f of a, we have to show this. So I have started with the left hand side, I got this, then by putting x inside I got this. You already know what is a raised to n x, that has been used. This x again has been pulled out, and you are left with f of lambda x, and that is exactly the right hand side, and therefore we have proved this, and therefore f of lambda is eigenvalue of f of a with x as an eigenvector. Right, now we are going to prove that if a is invertible, then lambda inverse is an eigenvalue of a inverse. So this is quite simple. What is given to us? Lambda is an eigenvalue of a and a is invertible, this is given. Now we have to prove that 1 upon lambda is an eigenvalue of a inverse. So since we are talking about 1 upon lambda, it is necessary for us to prove that this lambda is non-zero, right? Then and then only we can talk about 1 upon lambda. Now a is invertible, it is already given, so therefore we can talk about a inverse, that is not an issue. So see how we are going to prove that lambda is non-zero first of all. Now since lambda is the eigenvalue of a, it is going to satisfy the characteristic polynomial, right? So therefore we are going to have determinant of lambda I minus a will be equal to 0, and we are going to prove it by contradiction. So on contrary we will assume that lambda is equal to 0, suppose. So what it will imply? This will imply that if you put lambda is equal to 0 in above equation, you will get determinant of minus a is equal to 0, and this will imply, since order of a is n, and so this minus 1 can be pulled out n times from each row, right? Since number of rows are n and we are talking about determinant, so minus 1 जर प्रत्येक रो मधनं कॉमन घेतला तर तो n वेळेस बाहेर येईल, म्हणून बाहेर minus 1 raised to n येईल आणि इथे determinant of a येईल will be equal to 0, and this will imply that determinant of a is equal to 0, which is a contradiction because it is already given that a is invertible. Since a is invertible, then determinant of a is non-zero only. So therefore our assumption is wrong, therefore we can say that this lambda is non-zero. So now since we have shown this lambda is non-zero, now we have to prove that 1 upon lambda is eigenvalue of a inverse. Now the logic is again same. Since lambda is eigenvalue of a, there will exist x not equal to 0 belonging to r raised to n such that ax will be equal to lambda x. So since lambda is non-zero, now I can divide by I can divide by lambda, so you will get 1 upon lambda ax will be equal to simply x. Now since a is invertible, I can pre-multiply by a inverse. This can be written as a 1 upon lambda x will be equal to simply x. Now if I pre-multiply by a inverse, this will imply a inverse a 1 upon lambda x will be equal to a inverse x, but a inverse a will be I, and I will left with I multiplied by 1 upon lambda x. Since I is an identity matrix, I will left with 1 upon lambda x only, which will be equal to a inverse x. So that is nothing but what we have proved, a inverse x is equal to 1 upon lambda x. So what does it mean? It means that this 1 upon lambda is the eigenvalue of a inverse with x as an eigenvector. So this is very beautiful, right? So once we are talking about 2 is an eigenvalue of a, and suppose the eigenvector corresponding to 2 is 1, 2, 3, then, and we also know that a is invertible, then we can say that 1 upon 2 is the eigenvalue of a inverse, and eigenvectors remains exactly same, and your eigenvector is going to be 1, 2, 3 only. So till now we have not learned how to find the eigenvector, but we are going to learn it maybe in next few classes. So let us go for the remaining part of the proof. So as lambda is the eigenvalue, so this will happen, so this has happened, so pre-multiply by a inverse. Yeah, first of all I divided by lambda and then pre-multiplied by a inverse. If you pre-multiply by a inverse before that, still it is fine. Okay, the idea is same, and again you will get this equation, and this will imply that this 1 upon lambda is eigenvalue of A inverse. So beautiful theorem, and very useful in solving MCQs, has come to an end. I hope you got it. So you can construct small MCQs and you can try it on your own. So we'll stop here.